And James would be so committed to the faith that he would write this letter, and he writes about wisdom. He writes about godly wisdom versus earthly wisdom. And he points out the true heart condition behind godly wisdom. And he gets down to what's at the core of so much of our struggle as humans. Watch what he says in James 4 verse 1. He says, what is causing the quarrels and fights among you? This is a very important question. Because when my kids get in a fight over which seat they're going to sit in the minivan, or they're fighting again over who's going to get the blanket on the couch, or they're in an argument over who's going to get more cereal or get the rest of the milk, the problem is not the cereal, the milk, or the seat in the car. The problem is what's on the inside. The quarrel or the fight in your marriage, the argument that you get into with your spouse, that issue is not a surface level issue. There's something below the issue that is feeding into the behavior, James is saying. What causes it? Don't they come from the evil desires that are at war within you? That there's something inside of you that is pushing you. He continues his thought by saying this, that you internally are struggling and you want something, but you don't get it. There's an ambition that is causing you to be willing to harm the people around you. And the point that I want us to see from this is that jealousy stems from ambition with no regard for the well-being of others. So at its core, there's desire that you and I experience as humans. We want something. And that ambition is there. God is not frowning on ambition. God creates us with desire, with a desire to succeed, to make a difference, for our lives to progress. But what happens with jealousy is that ambition stems from deep inside of us. We want something and we're willing to harm other people to get it. Now, it's hard to think about yourself as somebody who would, it's oftentimes hard to think of yourself as somebody who would harm another person physically to get something, but there is a willingness inside of us to harm other people emotionally, to take advantage of other people. And at the core, James is saying that ambition is misguided. And that ambition has the power to destroy you. And that ambition has the power to destroy the most important relationships in your life. It's ambition with no regard for the well-being of others. It's kind of like there's this Jeep in my neighborhood. Now, if you've been around for a while, you've heard me talk about I love Jeeps. I have loved Jeeps since I was like a high schooler when one of my friends got a Jeep. And I wanted a Jeep for the longest period of time. Finally, I saved up money, bought a Jeep, and then I started sensing God leading me to give that Jeep away. And I'm glad I said yes to Jesus, but I still want a Jeep. And every time I see somebody in a Jeep, I miss my Jeep. And there's a Jeep in my neighborhood. I have found myself in my runs in the morning running out of my way to go see the Jeep. And I had a 2-door Jeep. This was a 4-door Jeep. I had a black Jeep. This is also a black Jeep, which is the best color for Jeeps. And but this is not a 2004 black Jeep. This is like a 2018 black Jeep. And it is amazing. It has big wheels. And when I drive by it, I imagine myself in that Jeep driving down the coast on a sunny California day, and I'm like loving life as I visualize myself in the Jeep, but then I remember it's not my Jeep. And when I visualize myself with that Jeep, I have no regard for the person that owns that Jeep. I'm not concerned with the condition of their marriage or the joy that they experience when they drive in that Jeep or even the condition of their eternal soul. I just think of the Jeep and I want the Jeep. And if there was no rule around it, if there was liberty in my neighborhood, I'd take the Jeep for a joyride, but I don't. But that ambition is there, and that ambition inside of you and inside of me has the power to destroy us. Maybe one of the ways to think about it is, what is the thing that you would do if there was no law against it? And maybe that's a little bit too far. What's the thing that you would do if there was no social norm against it? What's the thing that you would take that if you knew you took it, you wouldn't get in trouble, you would still go after it? James is saying that ambition has the power to drive you to go after things that will destroy your most important relationships and destroy the joy in your soul. Now,